Hello, hi, my name is Kyoko, and today I'd like to talk about Japan and some tips for a business trip to Japan. And this picture is Mount Fuji and the highest mountain in Japan. And the height is about 12,400 feet. And in Japan, about 80% of the land is mountain. So we have a very limited flat land. And the size of the country is about the size of California. And actually, state of California is slightly larger than Japan. So here are the pictures of Japan. And Japanese flag represent the rising sun. And with the Shinto tradition, we worship the rising sun. So in the new year, we usually go to the shrine um, like after midnight of December 31st. And we go to the shrine and also worship the first rising sun of the year. And Japan has four seasons. So we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And each season is really beautiful. And here's a picture of the Golden Pavilion in Kyoto in wintertime. And also here's some Japanese Alps in summertime. And there's a path um, in fall. And here's a bullet train. It's famous for accurate arrival times. And Japan is the homogeneous country in many ways. And if you look at the picture of the rush hour, so people are waiting for the train and getting on the train. And you can notice that everybody looks the same almost. They are all Japanese people, and they wear similar clothing as well. And when you look at the pie chart on the left on top, about 98.4% of people in Japan are actually Japanese. So that kind of explains about this picture. And regarding the religion in Japan, mainly we are Buddhist and also Shintoist. And these two religions are not like separated. Like it's not like um, Muslim and Buddhist or, there's no such kind of distinction between these two religions. In Japan, most people believe both religions. So say, for example, I'm a Shintoist and also a Buddhist as well. So when the baby is born, they will go to the shrine after, say, 100 days, and they like they celebrate the birth of the baby under the Shinto religion, and they even like sometimes get the name from a Shinto priest. Like for example, my name Kyoko was actually given by a Shinto priest. And when we grown up and when we get married, the ceremony is usually a Shinto ceremony. But when we die, the funeral is conducted by a Buddhist priest. and we are buried in the graveyard of the temple, like a Buddhist temple. So we kind of keep both religions, and it's a very normal thing in Japan. So that's why when you look at this pie chart, the number doesn't quite add up to 100%. It's more than 100%. And these two pictures are showing business greetings in Japan. On the left, with a background of New York City, two Japanese businessmen are greeting in a Japanese way. So this is a way they bow and greet each other. So, see there's a little bit of distance between them, and they have like a slightly bow, like say, you know, 30 to 45-degree angle. And on the right, this is showing Western style business greeting. So Western style business greeting, like a handshake, are quite acceptable and very common, especially when they meet visitors from overseas. So it's perfectly fine for you to use a Western style business greeting in Japan. And you don't really need to imitate the Japanese way of greeting. And the next picture is a typical Japanese business greeting. So those three people on the left um, greeting each other. They have a slight bow, and also they are keeping distance between them. And the one man has a hand on the side. That's like a masculine kind of style to have hands on the side of the body. And the women's style is usually the hand is in front. And also that's also acceptable for men as well. The other man has a hand in front. That's also correct. And the picture on the right is showing the Meishi. Meishi is a business card in Japan. And so this is a Meishi exchange. And important thing is you have to use both hands and also hold the card with your thumb and index finger. That's a very polite way to hold the meishi and the way you exchange it with another person. And meishi is a very important message exchange is very important ritual in the business scene. So I recommend to bring at least a box of meshi, maybe even more, depending how long you stay in Japan. Okay, next picture is about nemawashi. The word nemawashi means activity to make pre-agreement or pre-consensus. So Japan is famous for slow decision making, especially when they make important decisions or some long-term commitment. The decision making is very slow. The reason why is that Japan is a sort of like a group society, and decision making is a group consensus. So in order to um, form the consensus before the meeting, actual meeting, the meeting is more ceremonial in Japan. So, in other words, decision is already made when, before they have meeting. So the way they form a group consensus is usually the person, like a key person, visit every member of the group and obtain the consensus. And he does that with each person. And then when he completed, and then it's ready, for the meeting. And the nemawashi is like a ground preparation. So in order to plant a tree, it's very important to prepare the ground so that the tree will grow, really nicely. Okay, next thing is about the Japanese um, culture about ambiguity. As I said before, Japan is a collective culture. So it's like a really the group-based culture. And when you have similar people all over the place, um, the the way they communicate becomes nonverbal in a way. And so people are trained to read the air. Read the air, in Japanese we say 空気を読む is reading the situation or how other people are thinking. And because Japanese people do not like to say no, or they do not like to confront other people, so they are taught that to avoid saying no. So instead, what they do is they will say yes, but this yes is not real yes. It's just acknowledgement. Okay, I'm hearing you. I understand you. And then they are going to continue the reason why they can't do something or they are not willing to do something in a very vague way. So when they say yes, but they continue to say something very ambiguous, it means no. So please listen to them carefully and don't make assumption that they are really saying yes. And so in Japan, they prefer conformity over individualism because they really value the social harmony. This is very different from the United States or Western countries. So after the business meetings, there's always some sort of party or gathering in Japan. And so you are maybe either invited for dinner at a Japanese restaurant or maybe to a bar restaurant. And the bar restaurant is called izakaya. And you can enjoy something like a tapas and some drinks, different drinks. And also, Japanese people really like karaoke bars. And karaoke bars, everybody have to sing. So I recommend to practice singing. And you can just pick a very simple, say, American song, and you can sing it in English. But they really appreciate, if they can sing something they know. Okay, so the last slide is for the open question. So here's the two pictures of a U.S. president greeting Japanese emperor. This Japanese emperor is like a former Japanese emperor, Emperor Akihito, in Heisei era. And this picture actually was in newspapers and magazines about how American people think about those pictures. And so my question to you is, if you have a chance to meet the emperor, and how would you greet? And looking at these two pictures, President Obama and President Trump, do you think their way to greet the emperor is appropriate and polite? And reason why you think that way? And this is the end of my presentation. And thank you very much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.